Hey everyone, I know it's been a couple months and I'm sorry. This is a longer video than I thought. However, I'm just going to do voiceover for it, and then I'll just let you see kind of the highlights and some of the parts I found the most interesting. But we are heading to the Harry Potter studio tour of London, which is actually an hour outside of London in a village called Watford. As you can see, Teresa and I are already on our way. And again, it was about, I'd say a little over an hour ride to get there. We have all the wands greeting us as we make our way in. And this would be the cafeteria area, and that is a Hungarian horntail. I know that, and that is exactly why I was a virgin until I was almost 20. Checking out some of the international posters from all the movies. There was 8 total, based off of the 7 books. I was 10 years old when Philosopher's Stone first came out, and I honestly saw the movies before giving the books the time of day. Now, I have read the books now, and I know a few people that say the books were way better than the movies, or some saying that the movies didn't represent the books as well. While I sympathize with how they feel, I don't think the differences were that major. And to me, I mean, unless you really wanted Harry to have green eyes, that, more power to you. I still think it's like a cinematic achievement what they actually got done with these films. So, one of my most respected franchises. Kind of like up there with Lord of the Rings, maybe the first 6 Star Wars, but that's for another day. Anyway, we are in the Grand Hall right now, which is one of the larger of the sets constructed for the films. They are recreating a scene from the Order of the Phoenix when the Weasley twins drop out of Hogwarts. While I'll show as much as I can, such as the costumes, the props, some of the smaller sets, all of that, I didn't show 100% everything. I feel like it's something you should enjoy on your own. So don't feel like I ruined the whole tour by showing you every little detail. I just showed you, parts that I found interesting or that I wanted to kind of, show and whatnot. I think one of the best things about like these movies is the work that went into most of the set design and the props. And I think that's why most people really get lost in these films, because everything from stuff they're reading, their typical day-to-day items, it's all based around this wizarding world, so to speak. And it's just amazing, and we're probably never going to see something like this again in cinema, at least not for a while. So it's really cool to say I actually got to grow up with the movies, and again also with the books. Hell, I can remember back to July of 2005. There was a viral video, even back then, of a guy driving from bookstore to bookstore, screaming out, "Snape kills Dumbledore!" during the release of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince book. And sorry for the spoiler, I'm assuming you must have seen all the films if you're here. But my point is, a lot of that stuff I can just relate to me growing up over the years. Like, even just seeing stuff like this is the Gryffindor boys dormitory. It's just weird seeing a lot of this stuff on the movies and you're actually like walking amongst all that right now. And again, so if you're huge into those movies, it's definitely worth coming here. Now this is the Slytherin's common room. Just the amount of detail, like just the endless hours put into this world, it's amazing. It really is. And if you're not a fan of these films, I get it. You don't care about wizards, whatever. You rather watch, What's Eating Gilbert Grape or something. That's a good movie too. I'm just saying that, it's very understandable why most people really, really enjoy these films, this franchise. Except for Fantastic Beasts, but I didn't really like those that much. But to the OG, original 8 Harry Potter films, chef's kiss. And if you can't tell, we're about to enter Dumbledore's office, or at least the set and the props that would consist of the office itself. In the lore, those are portraits of former headmasters. Just so cool. I imagine if I worked here, you'd always catch me eating lunch there, but I'd probably get fired. Now I'm approaching the Pensieve of Hogwarts, which essentially was a memory well, so they could view back on past memories, or at least the headmasters could. One prop I would actually like to have would be from the Goblet of Fire, which is the Triwizard Cup. It just looks really cool, so it was really awesome to see it. Now coming up on the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom, or Snape's classroom. I found this pretty touching, but it's all the pets used for Hedwig, Fang, Mrs. Norris, Crookshanks, all of them, and I never would have guessed it was that many. Again, if I worked here, I feel like I would just be hanging in certain rooms all day, more specifically Hagrid's hut here, which just looks pretty cozy. You know, it's all you need. One big ass room with a fireplace, a table, food, and your dog. Now, Teresa and I both did this, and they put there's a green screen behind you, and you're sitting on a broom, and you just fly around and shit. It sounds very silly, but if you watch to the end, I actually put my minute video on, so it's kind of cringy, but again, that's how it is. And one of my favorite props, this Chamber of Secrets door, just amazing. They actually built shit that big. And just the practicality of some of these props, like there's Lupin's trunk that just opens up on his own, but in the movie it makes it look like he's doing it with magic. This is the burrow where the Weasley family lives. They also have a scaled version of the whole burrow itself built in one of the lots we'll be seeing soon also. And some of my favorite props were dealing with the Death Eaters, which are the followers of Voldemort, and like these masks, for example. If I honestly had the money, I would have each of those masks over my fireplace. I don't have a fireplace. I really appreciate how they recreated some of the scenes with the costumes. Now, personally, I wish they could have painted faces on these, but I get it, you know, less is more sometimes. That Grim Reaper is a part of the Riddle family tombstone, and that was Voldemort's name, for the people that don't know. And now we're making our way into the Ministry of Magic section of this tour. And despite the bright colors in some portions of it, I still get like a very oppressive feeling from it, especially once you see the Magic is Might statue, which is just some people believing that, you know, most of the magical beings are above the Muggles, which are the regular people. Muggles and Squibs. I should include Squibs, because that's like someone who was born from magical parents, but you have no magic ability. You're essentially just as normal, you're just a part of that bloodline. So, again, I was a virgin until I was almost... Now, this was my favorite part of the walkthrough, and this is the Forbidden Forest. Now, showing the lights above probably ruins the atmosphere, but as you're walking through, there's thunder, you can feel the wind, there's fog, and it has lots of things you'll associate with the Forbidden Forest. There's Teresa, front and center. That's Lord Voldemort's costume from Deathly Hallows Part 2. Many cool animatronics. This is a hippogriff. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Buckbeak, which was Hagrid's pet, which was saved from execution in The Prisoner of Azkaban. That's supposed to be one of the centaurs, and personally I think they could probably work on that one a little bit, but other than that, this is all top tier coolness.
Kill it, what are you waiting for?
Just a little bit, just to give you an idea of what you would experience while walking through. This is obviously a separate set, but they did record the first platform 9 3/4 at London King's Cross Station. I just wanted to mention that. So, as you can see, this is the Hogwarts Express. Very cool to see this whole thing. Like, you can even walk through the train, which you're about to see. We took a couple-minute break just to take our own pictures here, so, you know. And there's also a souvenir shop and a little cafe there too, so that's pretty neat. Now let's go check out the inside portion of the train cabins. My one takeaway from walking through the cabins is I really wish modern day metro systems were like this. but no, it's usually shit. Anyway, back to the tour. So here we're about to see this was their final costumes. Whenever it's 19 years later, so the final wardrobe, if you will. And right after, it's Harry and Ron's first time hanging out wardrobe from the first movie. I remember Teresa asking me why I was recording this, and I told her to mind her business. I'm just kidding. It's the billboard from Half-Blood Prince in the one metro station. I just thought it was neat. By now, it's a little bit more than halfway through the tour, and this would be like the backlot cafe. We've already exited the cafe section, but there's the Burrow, and it's got like the bridge from Hogwarts, and soon you're about to see 4 Privet Drive, that house. They originally had the house at a real location, but I think the owners they wanted more money after the first film, so they just built this prop house, which essentially is a house, and we're making our walk through it now. Again, a very weird feeling after watching the movies a lot over the years and just being in that exact, house. It's cool. Neat shit. You get to appreciate some of the scene recreations, like when he blew up his Aunt Marge with an inflating charm. Now, the greenhouses of Hogwarts from the Chamber of Secrets. Now, those plants are called mandrakes, and they scream. And I had a video of me pulling one up because it does scream and whatnot. It's kind of neat, but I unfortunately somehow lost that video. However, let's see if we can hear it. I can't imagine being one of the workers in there all day hearing that screeching sound. Again, just amazing the amount of time put into all these individual props and prosthetics, especially the mermaid. Oh, that's probably my favorite depiction of a mermaid. All the goblin makeup design and prosthetics. And then you get to see like Warwick Davis's costumes, and he played multiple characters. And he was also the Leprechaun. If you're familiar with that horror movie franchise, if you're not sure who he is, there you go. Now, another personal favorite during this tour was Gringotts Bank, because it really feels like a legitimate bank. And like Privet Drive, it's just really, really cool being able to walk through it, just imagining them making the movie here and stuff like that, and just actually being there. An experience in itself. We'll be making our way to the vaults and the caverns portion of this tour. And in the story, it's directly beneath Gringotts Bank, and it's where they keep some of their most valued possessions, or, the most valuable shit, so to speak. And aside from some of the set pieces, they actually do give you a couple photo opportunities. And, it's neat. Now this part coming up, I'm just going to let it play out because it shows a certain Ukrainian Iron Belly escaping Gringotts. God, dragons are so cool. Okay, now we're in Diagon Alley. And this is like where, in the first film, Harry got his wand from Ollivanders, and where he got Hedwig. Well, Hagrid got for him, but, Diagon Alley is where you would go to get these things. And, yeah, it was sweet. It's just, there's a lot of people, so try your best to get pictures and video when you can, but just to show you a few bits and pieces that I liked. And pretty much lastly, miniature replica of Hogwarts Castle, and then the big one. This is probably the size of a one-story home, if not bigger. And it takes up quite a big amount of space. Like the stairs leading down actually go around it, so you can actually kind of like pinpoint certain parts of the movie where that took place, and it's just cool. You can actually connect it, though it's a model of the property itself. Excuse me. Now, aside from this pretty much draws it to a close. Now, again, there is so much more to see here than I'm even getting to show you. I just figured it's better for you to see for yourself. Definitely worth it. 10 out of 10. I wish we would have had a couple more hours there, but we did technically have to see all of it. So I'd like to say that sorry it took me a while to post another video. And I am kind of sorry this one's a little bit longer, but I thought it deserved it and not to be cut down too short. And I have fun doing these narrations from time to time. And as promised, for the very last time, this is why I was a virgin till I was almost 20.